Welcome to JK Education Center. Today we are talking about the human eye, how it forms image and how we'll be able to see that object clearly. In previous class, I made a diagram of human eye with many labelings and that was necessary to understand the biology also, but today we are concerned only with the formation of image and the vision of the object. Okay, let's start with this diagram. Our eye has three different layers, but look at this iris. Iris is formed by this middle layer of our eyeball. Out of three layers, the middle layer of our eyeball is choroid, and this choroid forms a little annular. Annular means middle part is open. Annular, opaque, and colorful part in the front side of our eye, and it appears as disc-like structure. And this is iris. And there are two major functions of iris. One, it determines the color of eye. In some cases, the color of iris is blue, and we'll say that his eye is blue or her eye is blue. In some cases, some of the person might have this green iris, and we'll say that his eye or her eye is green. But actually, the color of eye is determined by the color of iris. This is one of the important function of iris. It determines the color of eye. But more than that, the prime important function of iris is to regulate the light, amount of light entering into the eye. It regulates the amount of light entering into the eye. How? In bright light, iris contracts and it makes the pupil small. And this small pupil allows very less amount of light to enter into the eye. But since light is bright, intensity of light is high, that's why this less amount of light is able to see that object clearly. It can be represented by this diagram. Look at this. Now I'm making this diagram to show you the front side of our eye. This red part represents iris, and the middle part represents pupil. And when iris contracts, it makes the pupil small, and small pupil allows less amount of bright light to enter. Since light is bright, that's why we'll be able to see that object clearly. But in dim light, the function of iris in dim light, iris relaxes. It makes the pupil wider. And wide pupil allows lot of dim light to enter into the eye. And lot of dim light is necessary to see that object clearly, because light is dim. Thus, in bright light, iris contracts and makes the pupil small. In dim light, iris relaxes and makes the pupil wider and regulate the amount of light entering into the eye. This is the function of iris. Now let's talk about pupil. Pupil is sometimes we say the pupil is a hole through which light enters into the eye. But actually this is the front side of the convex lens of eye, and if light falls on pupil, that enters into the eye. Otherwise, if it falls on the iris, it won't enter into the eye. This is entrance of light to the eye. Now let's talk about convex lens. Convex lens of eye is made of living elastic cells, elastic living cells, and they are packed in an elastic capsule. And since the capsule is elastic, that's why according to the requirement it becomes sometimes thicker and sometimes it becomes thin. And when light enters into the convex lens of eye, then convex lens converges it, and it makes a real, inverted and diminished image on the retina. This is the function of convex lens. It forms real, inverted and diminished image on the retina. Now next is ciliary muscle. What is ciliary muscle? Before the ciliary muscle, I want to tell you something more about other matter, and then we'll come back to ciliary muscle. Near point, what is it? Far point, what is it? And then accommodation of eye, and then we'll come back to ciliary muscle. Near point means the nearest point from our eye at which an object can be seen clearly is called near point of our eye, and it lies at a distance of 25 centimeters for a healthy eye. But if eye has certain defect, then it may be more than 25 centimeter or less than 25 centimeter. This is near point. In the same way, there is another point also called far point of eye. The farthest point from an eye at which an object can be seen clearly is called far point of an eye. It lies at infinity. I think you have noticed that we are able to see the stars also. Stars are far away, and they lies at millions of kilometers away from us. Even after this, we will be able to see that star clearly. That's why far point lies at infinity. Now, what is accommodation of eye? Our eye has capacity to focus both the near object and distant object on the retina by changing the thickness of the convex lens of eye. Such a capacity of eye is called accommodation of eye. Now, after this much understanding, now we'll be able to understand ciliary muscle. What is ciliary muscle first? The muscle which surrounds the convex lens of our eye is called ciliary muscle. And what is its function? According to the requirement, it contracts and relaxes and changes the thickness of the convex lens of eye and helps to focus both the near object and distant object on the retina. This is the function of ciliary muscle. Now let's go to detail. If we are watching near object, like if watching my palm, then how ciliary muscle works? The ciliary muscle contracts like this. Ciliary muscle contracts and makes the convex lens of eye thicker. And the light ray coming from the near object are diverging ray. And diverging ray are then converged by thick convex lens of eye to focus on the retina. Since convex lens is made thicker and its power is high and its converging capacity is more, look at this angle. With this angle it is converging the ray of light, and converging capacity is more, focal length is short, and it is able to focus near object on the retina. This way it works. While watching near object, convex lens contracts and it makes the ciliary muscle contracts, it makes the convex lens thicker, and thick convex lens has high power, less focal length, and it can converge the near object on the retina like this. But while watching distant object, if I am watching somewhere a little far, some person is coming from a little distance or some houses or trees, then the light ray coming from this distant object is parallel to each other like this. Now we have to focus this object also on the retina, otherwise that object cannot be seen clearly. And for this, what happens? Ciliary muscle relaxes while watching distant object, and it makes the convex lens of eye thin. And when convex lens becomes thin, its power becomes less. Its converging capacity becomes less. Look at this angle with which it is converging. The ray of light is less. Converging capacity is less. Its focal length is long. And then it will be able to focus that distant object also on the retina. If it converges with this much angle, then the object will be focused in front of the retina. That's why automatically convex lens becomes thinner because of the ciliary muscle, and thin convex lens can focus distant object on the retina, but thick convex lens is required to focus near object on the retina. This way we can understand the function of ciliary muscle. Now let's talk about retina. What is retina exactly? Retina means out of 3 layers of our eyeball, the innermost layer is called retina. And image of the object, wherever we see anything, the image of that object falls on the retina. And this image is real, inverted and dimnest. Real, inverted and dimnest. And this image, the information of this image is carried by the optic nerve to the brain. There is a bundle of nerve which is at the back side of the eye. The nerves are arising from the retina, and they make a bundle, and this bundle of nerve is called optic nerve. This optic nerve carries the information of the image formed on the retina to the brain. Since our brain has capacity to make the image erect, image is inverted on the retina, but brain has capacity to see by making it erect. And since the image is small, but brain has capacity to make it the sizable, whatever is its size. And this is the function of brain. This way optic nerve carries the information of the image to the brain, and brain read it according to its shape, size, and according to erect or inverted. This way our eye works. This much for today.